Hey everybody, this is Mike Mitchell with Progressive Church Media, and in this tutorial we're continuing to look at Livestream Studio since a lot of churches are beginning to move toward that as we're all staying at home, alone together, isolating and worshiping online. And you know, one of the things, I know this is true for me, and I know it's true for my church, and I know it's true for various friends of mine. This is new stuff. It's uncharted territory. And so for a lot of churches, you know, figuring out how to do this is a new thing. And so that is true not only for the people on your staff and your clergy, it's true for your congregation as well. And so, you know, think about it from their perspective for a second. They're at home, you know, they're in isolation, and they are at the appropriate time tuning in to Facebook or YouTube or wherever you've told them to go to watch a streaming service. And for many of them, you know, this is kind of new stuff too. And they may be thinking, okay, am I in the right place? Am I on the right YouTube channel? And so I think one of the things we can all do in this period is do little things that kind of offer grace and a way for people to kind of be a little more calm. And the little trick I'm going to show you today, to me, is an example of that. What I'm going to show you today how to do is very easily make like a little countdown timer that you can put up at the beginning, really before you are actually ready to start the worship service. And this will do a couple things. Number one, it will just send the signal to people that, you know what, yes, I'm in the right place. I'm on the right YouTube channel. And they can also see on the timer, okay, I can see, you know, that the worship is actually going to start in 5 minutes or whatever you do. I think it's a little thing you can do just to help kind of calm, and we all need that right now, right? So here I am, I'm back in the studio, and you can see actually in the preview here, this is kind of an example of what I'm going to show you how to make. And again, I've made one for you. But you know, you may want to make one or do something different. And by the way, if you do some different stuff, maybe you make different lower thirds or whatever, I would love, send me an email and show me. I love to see that kind of stuff. So if you do something you think is really cool, you're proud of, or kind of made you stretch outside what you do, show it to me. I would love to see it. So what I have done is I've already made an example. I'm going to walk you through how to make one of these, but let's I'm a very visual person, so let's look at the end result, and then I'll show you how to do this. So I'm over here I put my sample one in under Graphics 2, and you can see here's what I've done. I've made a layer that is a timer layer. And over here, you know, you can see, well, actually, just let's go in so you can see. So I've added some text, and I've added in the placeholder for time, and let me fix that while I'm here. Okay, but here's the way this works. Let me come in here under my settings, and I'm going to set this for 10 seconds. And I've got some settings here I'll explain in just a second, but let me push this onto the screen. So what this countdown is going to do, it's going to count down for 10 seconds, but I just want you to watch what happens, and then I'll show you how I did this. It's pretty easy. So I'm in Graphics 2, so I'm going to push it over. There we go. You can see there is the countdown started. 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year, right? But so what I want you to notice there is I set the countdown for 10 seconds. When I pushed it over into the program layer, the output layer, that's when it actually started that 10 seconds. It started the countdown. It didn't start until I actually pushed it over. It ran for that amount of time, again, 10 seconds. And then at the end, what I hope you maybe noticed is I didn't do anything. It automatically took it off the screen for me. So that's what I want to show you how to do. So I'm going to recreate this. And again, the idea is if you want to kind of take this idea, put your own spin on it, you'll know how to do it. So the way I'm going to do this still just within Graphics 2, so we've got our original right there. I'm going to come down here under to create a new layer. I'm going to click on the plus, and what I want to do is choose timer. Okay, so now I've got my original timer and I've got timer 2. Now what I'm going to do, and let me turn that one off so it's not visible right now. So I've got the one we're working on is going to be visible and will start showing up over here in the preview. I'm going to click on my little edit, which is that little paintbrush, and I'm in the designer, and to start with, it's totally blank. So what I did is I had that kind of animated welcome where it was showing the word welcome, bienvenido, in lots of different languages. You can use that. You've got access to that, or you could put in a different animation, or you could just put in, you know, a still image or whatever you wanted to do. I'm going to show you using that animation, but you know, you're just going to choose your input based on what you want to do. So if you want to use an image, you would just go here and pull in whatever image. I'm going to come here to animation, and I've got this saved on my hard drive as a PNG sequence, an animated sequence. I'm just going to select the very first one and bring that in. And because I formatted that animation in the right dimensions, I know that it fills the whole screen. And that's all I need to do with that. I am done at that point. I've got my background exactly how I want it. So now what I want to do is I want to come over here and I want to add the little countdown clock or the timer. And I have different options here. You know, I can put in, the time and all that kind of thing. What I have found works best, and you can play around with these, I found these presets work best, and I have found in particular this one that's minutes and seconds works probably the best for this. And so I just bring that in there. I am going to take my mouse and bring it down. I just kind of put it down here in this area. And let's go up here and click to edit. I'm going to leave it, you know, in this white color. I will change the font just so it matches the font that I have been using in all my examples. I am just kind of that way about fonts, and I've got way too many fonts here, as you can see. But let me find the one that I used, which is this one, which again, I'm giving you, so you've got it. I'm going to turn off the shadow just so it kind of matches the flat look of the video itself. And what I did after playing around with this, I found that justifying this kind of right justified worked best. So I've got that. The last thing I want to do is just grab that handle and make sure I'm giving all the room for all of the lettering and everything there. So now I've got that, and so you can see, you know, that's what that's going to look like. Okay, perfect. Now, what I decided whenever I started building this is, well, gosh, if I just saw this on the screen, I might kind of catch on that this is a timer, but I might not. And so what I decided is, let me add some additional text just to make it really, really clear what's going on here. Because again, part of my goal here is to keep people calm and tranquil and in the mode for worship. So I'm just going to add some text. And I just put in, whoops, our worship starts soon. Let me grab that and let's just bring it down. And then what I decided after kind of playing around, let's get it formatted. Again, we'll justify that. We'll turn off the shadow just to make it match. Let me go grab that font again. There we go. And I decided to make that just a little bit smaller. And let's get that all the way we want. Let me bring that down. So now that's what people would see on the screen. Again, totally up to you. You can make all this bigger or smaller in different fonts and, you know, in different colors or whatever you want to do. This is just kind of a guide to get you started. But that's how you do it. It's pretty easy, right? And so now I've got that. And then the way you determine how this little countdown is going to behave is under the little gear icon here. So let me bring that up. So you have a couple of choices. And again, some of this is just going to come down to what makes the most sense for you. So I can have the countdown count down to a specific date and time. Okay, so let's say that our worship service starts at 11:30. I'm just totally making that up. Okay, so I could say, and so I'm recording this on April 2nd, so let's put that on today's date. So I could come down here and say, I want this to count down to April 2nd at 11:30 a.m. And you'll notice the countdown clock automatically, and this is correct based on when I'm recording this, that would basically be in about a half an hour, right? So that's one way that you could do this. You could set it up that way, okay? Or another option is to say, I want to count down from a specific increment of time. And so if you use this example, then you can come down here. I'm going to suggest, again, you probably put it on the minutes and seconds format. Depends on how long you want your countdown to go. So, for example, you might say, I want to count down 5 minutes before the worship service, right? So people are probably going to start tuning in about 5 minutes or so before. You can make that, again, whatever you want. But notice, again, it automatically adjusted. Now, here's the difference, or one of the differences you'll notice is if I choose countdown from, it's not going to actually start that countdown until I actually start it. So I'm going to click start and watch. Now it's going to start, right? Now, one of the options that you can do, let me reset that for 5, is I can say, okay, I want to have this all set up and ready to go, but I don't want that timer, that countdown to start until I actually push this over into my live, what I'm actually broadcasting, right? And so that's what this option is for. Start on first push. So if I would do this version, right, when I would actually push it over, notice the countdown is not going yet, but because I'm on graphics 2, if I would push this over, then it would start the countdown. So let's actually do that so you can see. So I'm going to push it over, and magically it starts. Wow. And now I'm going to just pull it off the screen because I know you're just dying not to see me, right? Now, the other thing that I can do, so that kind of automates it a little bit, which is good. The other thing I can do, if I scroll down a little bit more, is I can say, okay, when it's done, then I can have some options. I like this one. Pull it from the program is what this means. And so that's what I was actually showing you at the very beginning. Let me change this again just to 10 seconds. I'll actually just do 5 seconds. So I've got it set for 5 seconds, right? Because of the way I've got this set up, it's not going to start that countdown until I push it over. The key there is I have to push it over using that button. But then when it's done, when those 5 seconds are up, it's automatically going to take it away. So again, let's do that just so you can see that. So here we go. Boom, boom, boom. And we're back. I didn't click on anything. It did that all automatically. So anyway, so that's the idea. Again, you can kind of play around with that, figure out which of those makes the most sense for you. But I would really encourage you to do some kind of a countdown timer at the beginning. I think, you know, if you're physically in person, it's one thing you kind of know as people are coming into the sanctuary and stuff. Okay, you know, everything's on track. But so you got to kind of give people that same sense in this virtual world that we're all living in, at least for the time being. I hope this helps. I'll do more tutorials, and again, as I said before, if you do something you think is kind of cool, I would love to see it.